Hello and welcome to All For United with me, John Foster. Oh, got some background noise going on. There we go. Not too sure what happened there. And we've got Natalie with us again. How you doing, Nat?
Hi, John. Thanks. Well, we're on again every week talking about the girls.
I can't believe how quickly the weeks go round. It seems just literally a couple of days ago since we were talking to Sophie. But this is your second time on the channel this week. Monday night, you were speaking to Ben, Joe, and Adam about the men's team. How was that show on Monday night?
Yeah, it was a really good show. I'd advise anyone to go and check it out. I think late night lock-in. It was on at 10, and they're doing one on Friday as well. So go and check it out. There's great stuff going on, and it just shows, isn't it? Men, women. It's all united. We love it.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And we've got Jake joining us again for his second time on the show. Thank you for coming on, Jake. How you keeping, mate?
Yeah, good evening. Happy to be here. Yeah, gonna have a good conversation.
Absolutely. Last time Jake was on, we spoke quite a bit about Casey Stoney, and we raised quite a few points. I think the episode was called Casey Stoney's top 5 successes or something like that. Yeah. So that created a lot of talking points, and that was brilliant. Sarah's first time on the show. You might recognise Sarah from some of the Barmy Army fan cams last season outside the ground. How are you keeping, Sarah?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, good.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Obviously, Jake had his word on Casey Stoney and how the seasons went. Sarah, what's your thoughts on Casey before we get started? How do you think Casey's done this season?
Well, she seems to be doing a lot right, doesn't she? We're there at the top. Sometimes I do wonder whether some of the tactics she's using could be better in terms of pushing forward. But it's going well, so I'm wrong.
Well, she's still top of the league. All these points that we bring up about Casey, she's a perfectionist as much as anybody. So I'm sure there's nothing that we can't say that she's not already thinking about herself anyway. But she's had a great start to this season, and obviously a fantastic two seasons already. We're going to talk about 3 things today, guys. I'll read out your comments shortly. We're going to talk about all the players that have been on international duty in the last week or two. We're going to talk about what players, if any, or potentially could be classed as world-class players. And finally, we're going to be talking about the Aston Villa preview, which kicks off in about 2 days' time. Saturday, 12:30, I believe that is. So, Nat, what are your thoughts on the international break as a whole before we start breaking it down?
I don't like it. That's my thoughts. I don't like it. Casey's come out today saying Hansen got injured. She shouldn't have really played that game. I agree. It's a bit pointless. I know Jake has a different sort of view, and I know he'll go on. But for us, for our girls, a lot of them got minutes. Only Hansen really could say, it's left us maybe without her, but everyone's come back okay. I think a lot of people got a rest as well. I know Anna only played 45 minutes. Preston Heath, I think, needed potential minutes, so I think it was good for them. They did really well. Jackie didn't play the second game for Holland, so she got a rest. So it was good international break for us, I suppose. A lot of players scored goals. Tooney got a hat-trick. I know we're going to go on to it, but as Man United fans, men, women, who likes international break? Apart from Jake, sorry. But who actually really wants to sit there and think, can't wait for the international break. Can't wait to watch England play. Maybe when I was 5 years old, I thought that. Now I'm just like, bring the girls back, bring the boys back, injury-free, let's go. I don't really like them.
I'm the same. I mean, it is because obviously we support Man United more than the country, I guess. And I do watch the tournament. So, like, if it's a World Cup or European Cup, men or women, I'll watch that and I'll enjoy it. I will. But to me, it is a bit like a bit of a stopgap. But Jake, go on. What's your argument to say the opposite?
Yeah. Well, you got a good contrast on tonight, John. You fact you got Nat who just clearly nailed her colours to the mast in the sense that she does not like the international breaks. And yeah, look, I know I'm a minority, but I've said this before. It's a case of players having real national pride and putting their heart on the line for the country. And look, I do agree with Nat in the sense that sometimes it's unnecessary. And had this been loads of friendlies, I would have agreed. But Casey Hansen, that injury, I hope it's not too bad. As I say, it didn't look awful. She walked up, she hobbled off the pitch in the game, and obviously didn't play the second one against Finland. So yeah, we hope it's not too bad for her. But look, she would have wanted to play, and Casey Smith as well. He played against Finland the other night. They would have wanted to play because it was two massive games for Scotland, albeit two that they lost. But they know that it was big. It was massive in terms of the qualification campaign. Also Jane as well. Some minutes for Jane Ross, who played on the wing in that one, and luckily she's coming back okay. So that's one thing.
Yeah, as long as Jane Ross is okay, then Jake's okay.
Yeah.
Sarah, thoughts on international breaks, international duty? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it can. It stops the flow of the games, doesn't it? Really, for us in the Super League, it sort of makes it too nitty for me. I do like watching internationals, but I don't like that it's affecting our Super League, breaking it up, especially when it's like it seems immaterial, especially to the England girls. It's like, well, I know they have to meet and practice together, but it's like they're just playing against one another, aren't they?
Yeah, especially the England one, which we'll talk about soon. Question on screen from Reaper. Hello, Reaper. Sarah, you might be best to answer this one as well. What is the latest on Kirsty Hansen's injury? Have you heard anything lately?
Well, as far as I know, it's a bit of a calf strain, and she says she's okay, but I suppose it just depends on training, doesn't it? At first, she knew she wouldn't be playing in the Finland game, so it must have been something that she was brought out of to prevent a further injury in the calf.
Yeah, I think the same. Nat?
Yeah, same. I think it's a calf. I don't know if it's like a muscle tear or what. I don't know. I know Casey sort of said a few words on it today in a press conference. I know she was not happy that she played the game. But who is? I mean, we sort of say in these England camps, I mean, Casey sort of said it's pointless. And I know Sarah said it. And then they called up, I mean, I know they'll be happy to be called up, but called up Abby Mack for a day. And I think she played a game against another team. No one knows what the score is. Does anyone really care? Probably not. And I just think went there to St. George's to mingle with another group of people. Yeah, a lot of them are our girls, but there's risk in that with it being a pandemic to just play a game and come home. I don't know. And it was nothing. If it was like if England were playing a friendly, because obviously they've not got qualifications, you could say fair enough, but going down to St. George's for a day, it's just, I don't understand. I don't understand, and I never will. And, I get they have to do qualifiers, but, everything's just put. If there was loads of WSL games, like when we have the men, we have like months and months of games, but it's like you play 2 games, and then you're back on international. It's ridiculous. And, one of them was a cup game. We played 3 games, 2 league and 1 cup. It's like, no, stop it. Casey even said before you can't build momentum. But I think it's different in the men's game and in the women's game. I mean, not saying that the men don't have pride playing for the country, but you saw more people pull out. And that's what I think we might potentially start seeing, hopefully, in my opinion. But you never know.
You talk about momentum. Last season, we had a great start to the season, like winning. Well, we lost the first 2, but then we went on like a 5-game winning streak last season, and then we started to hit. Like I don't think it was an international break, but there was a period of bad weather, that led into Christmas time, and that really unsettled the team, and we saw results go differently. Hopefully, that won't be the case going into this Christmas. Let's just shout out a few people. John Foy in the comments, thank you again. Paulie, Gary, Voyaz Verta, recognise a few names from Twitter. Thank you. Reaper 2004, always here. Thank you very much. Yeah, we spoke about that comment on the screen. That's what John Foy thinks of international players. But yeah, I agree absolutely. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the England game. So it was 8-1. I believe it was Tooney, Millie on one side, with Zellum coming on, and I think on the opposite side, LJ came on. I don't know if anybody saw the game, but Tooney hat trick. What are your first thoughts on that when you see a Tooney hat trick, Jake?
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Now, I've not seen any of the videos. I've not actually watched the games themselves because I'm not being funny, but I'm sort of on the same side as Natalie in the sense that, why even meet up for an England camp? But look, they all came back unscathed, all the United girls from England, and as you say, that Tooney hat-trick will just set her confidence even higher. She's had a great start to the season, scored that winner against Arsenal. I mean, who can forget that? And doing well for England now in the senior setup. Happy days, really.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. Yeah, she's settled in well. Sarah, I mean, we've seen quite a few Manchester United players this season call up for the England squad. Millie and Tooney seem to be regulars at the moment. They're definitely deserving the shot, aren't they?
Definitely. I thought Millie should have been called up last season. So I think it was about time it was coming. And I'm pleased to see Tooney is doing well with England.
Yeah, it's good because she's carried that form on, hasn't she, from the Manchester United games, and carried it on for England, and then hopefully she'll carry it back on again, and it's just keeping that momentum going. It's exactly what she wants, exactly what we need, isn't it? LJ Nat, obviously came on as a substitute. Would like to see more of her, but would like to have actually seen some of the game as well, wouldn't we?
Yeah. That's another thing. Why having these games, telling everyone the score, and then there's no highlights, there's no videos? It's ridiculous. Tooney thought it was Leicester. Tooney loves to bag goals. I'm looking forward to her playing. Villa will go on to that, but LJ was the newest call up, and we talked about it with Soph. LJ can do what she wants, in my opinion. I think it's long overdue. They were putting out videos of LJ just ripping everyone apart, like she does, when she's so nonchalant about it. She's so good, and it's what she needs. Get in there. I mean, she came on when they were losing heavily. I think they were losing like 5-0. They ended up losing 8-1 or something. So she was on the pitch when her team scored. It's a shame for me. I love to watch them games when they're all on the same side anyway, because then you're just supporting one side, and it's just a shame LJ was on the other side. But she's coming in slowly. When she is at a peak, it's another level, isn't it?
Yeah, we've discussed it quite a few times, haven't we? And a bit of a shout out as well to a journalist on Twitter called, I think it's MUWFC. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. But I was reading her tweets throughout the game. That was the only way I could keep up to date. So she was basically doing what the Barmy Army Twitter does. Oh, we've lost someone. She was basically doing what the Barmy Army tweets do, just give you like step by step, every shot, every goal. So I don't know how you spell it off the top of my head, but it's on my Twitter somewhere. So check it out, definitely. Jake, I mean, the amount of Manchester United players that could potentially get into that starting 11. I mean, we saw 2 or 3 in the last couple of weeks. Is it possible to get even more than that? Obviously, we've got Abby McManus that could jump in there, Alicia Russo. What's the maximum do you think we could get in at one time there, Jake?
Yeah, well, let me just say it's brilliant to see the start. We've obviously had a great start to the season, and Phil Neville and his staff are noticing that, and we're seeing more United players than ever. Like, if you remember last season, we were only getting I think it was 2 or 3 in the England team. It's like, yeah, we're good, but we've got all these players that aren't in there. But now you're getting LJ in the senior team. Katie's there as well. Tooney, more and more, just gradually, just sort of coming into the England setup. It's great to see because as much as the international games can disrupt the season, they're still training at a high level with professionals. alongside other girls from the other teams who are on a similar level. So yeah, it's great. And going forward, yeah, you want to see even more of our players in the setup. Personally, I'd love to see Amy Turner play for England at some point, because she's been arguably, I don't want to say the best player, because I think Jackie's been our best, but I'd say second best player this season, Amy. She's been throwing her body on the line constantly and been a rock in our defence. So I think that's something England would need in the next few years. So yeah, definitely Amy's the next person from United to join up with England.
Welcome back, Sarah.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Sarah, Jake was just praising Amy Turner, and I know that you're a big fan of Amy Turner. What are your thoughts? Would you like to see her in the England setup?
I think she deserves a place in the England setup. Definitely. I think she's better than Steph Harton. And I think her fitness has really come into its own. I think she's got over that really bad injury that she had a few seasons ago. Last season, I thought she was excellent, and this season, she's just, for me, outstanding.
She's certainly giving Abby a challenge in that centre back position, isn't she? And one last one before we move on to the other teams. Nat, I mean, we spoke about Russo and LJ. Could them two potentially be up front for England in the future?
Why not? And I mean, I just want to shout out Amy as well. I mean, for me, I love Millie. Everyone knows Millie, for me, has been our best defender since, we started. But for me, I think Amy's been even better than her. And I mean, that's saying something, because Millie is such a high standard, but I think Amy's really raised the game to that. But in terms of Russo and LJ, that I can see that being the start. I can see Russo being the England number 9 with LJ just behind her as a number 10, or, Tooney or Russo and LJ. LJ is one of them players you just play wherever, but I can definitely see Russo being future England number 9. Like, she is just different class. I mean, I know Beth England's good. I know Beth England scored a hat-trick, but she's not really getting games. For me, Russo is just another level, and let's see. She's injured at the minute. For me, I think potentially some of them girls could they're in the team. They're always getting in the team. They could say, listen, players in the Olympics, players definitely in the Euros. So I think all them players that we're talking about playing for England will be at the Euros, and that's potentially it's going to be in England. They're going to play at LSV. They're going to play at that Man City Stadium. So they're going to be playing at stadiums potentially near a lot of our fans. Just go and support the girls, because it's going to be a heavy Man United team, I think. Definitely.
The good thing is, as well, is they're all growing up together, aren't they? Coming through a similar age, similar time of their career. I've thrown Tooney in there as well. Those three together, it would be fantastic to see. Speaking about 3 players, there were 3 players in one of the other games, Netherlands versus USA. That was the only match that I managed to watch, and that's still available on YouTube, I believe. I was really impressed with USA. I don't know what they're like compared to usual. I mean, Jake, Sarah, you may have watched USA play a lot more than myself, but I just thought they were so strong and dominant. I thought Jackie played okay, to be honest. I think she was pressing from that midfield, so she tried to, when the space in front of her, she ran into it, tried to push the game forward. But for me, I just thought, the goals that USA scored as well was really good. Jake, Press, Heath, Jackie, all in one game. Was it a game that you enjoyed seeing the highlights of or watching?
Yeah, no, I've honestly I've not seen it, but no, it was great to see all 3 of them play, especially with the US having not played for so long now, and you can just see from the posts that Kristen and Tobin had put out on social media that they enjoyed it. They loved it, and it's only going to make them feel better and more confident and more comfortable with football in a way. And we've said before, Kristen isn't up to playing the whole 90 minutes for United, but a bit of game time in this one, it can only do good for us, I think. And obviously they're on the winning side as well, so if that's not a morale boost, I don't know what is. Jackie, always good to see her play for the Netherlands, a key part of that team as she is for United. So yeah, look, I say this, in every respect, in all respects to the internationals, if you have to play them, give our players game time, give them confidence boost rather than going there, sitting on the bench, and then coming back home. And that's the main thing about this break. All of our players have had some minutes.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, if you're going to go over there, I think really just like being a friendly, there's no need to that's the frustrating part with Hanson. Going back to Hanson, she's now picked up an injury, obviously only a smaller injury, just for the sake of a friendly that may not have even needed to happen. I don't even know if the Scotland game was actually a friendly or not, but there were obviously a few friendlies there. Was it a qualifier? Sorry, yeah. Okay, so yeah, kind of important then. Sarah, Jackie's played really well this season. How good is it for Jackie, Press, and Heath all to be in the same team at Man United? It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's brilliant, and you could see with the game, the USA game, you could see the link up with Heath and Press again, continuing just like they do at United. It was really good to see.
Yeah. Sorry, Sarah, go on.
I love seeing Heath running down that wing and pinging a pass across to Press. It was brilliant. I know she didn't score, but it was brilliant to see, just like she was doing at United. It was good.
How impressed have you been this season with Press and Heath for Man United, Sarah?
Heath, definitely. She's just star quality, isn't she, from the offset? And like Jake was saying, Press is improving each game she's playing. But I've been really impressed with Tobin. She's just quality. Yeah,
we've spoken a few times, haven't we? And Natalie, she just carried on, hasn't she, through international duty.
It's different class. I know John Fry said it there in the comments. There was a goal that was disallowed. It was just bang, bang, one, left, right. And it went, for me, it was a goal. The referee blowed it offside. But for me, it was onside. And, Kristen, if she had scored, if they'd allowed it, it would have done her such a massive boost of confidence. But she did get an assist for Rose Lavelle, who whipped it. The goal was just
that was different. A great goal. Yeah.
That was a different class goal. It's not like one of these ones where you see it on the edge of the box, with women's football. Oh, she didn't mean it. No, she meant that. That was, you could tell the way she hit it. It was just different class. And Press and Heath, even Heath, watching her, Tobin, just press it in her own half and pressing as like a right back. And we've seen her do it for United, and it's just, she then won the ball and was running up with it. And, the fitness levels, you can tell it's been drilled in them, at Man United, which is really good to see. People were saying, oh, look at 2 steps ahead of everyone, because they haven't played a lot of football, the US women team. But obviously our girls coming into United setup and looking fresh, I think it says volumes of what they're doing in training with us, because, you can see the strength, the confidence, the belief flowing through both of them. And I think it's just a matter of time before we see Press start banging them. Yeah,
and that's the thing now with obviously Russo being out, Press is going to have a chance to play, even more. But potentially if Russo hadn't have got injured, who knows what could have happened. It's fun to see them battling it out with each other, but obviously at the moment it looks like Press will be first choice. There was one other game I think one of you guys commented on. Holland did play two games. Won 6-0, but Jackie didn't play. Let's talk about Scotland then. So there's quite a few familiar faces there. I see Jake's face light up when I said Scotland. They lost both games, didn't they? 1-0. One to Portugal. Was it Portugal?
Yeah.
The other one to Finland. Yeah. So Kirsty started the first game, got injured. Lizzie Arden came on. Second game, I believe Kirsty Smith played and Jane Ross. Jake, what were your thoughts on those games?
Yeah, well, the less said, the better from a Scotland point of view, because they dominated and just won. Well, say one of those games, both of them. You just got the feeling that it wasn't going to be their night, and it wasn't. Look, Scotland have failed in this qualifying campaign, and I'm sure our players are devastated. But you can only hope that it's sort of, I've said all, the good results bringing out, good feelings, really good boosting morale. I can only hope this sort of gives the Scottish girls a push a bit. You know, Jane, should she play, I want her to sort of take this and improve. But it's harsh on her because I think Jane was one of the best players. And I'm trying not to be biased there. I think she was really good. She was pushed out on the wing against Finland. She was creative. She put plenty of balls into the box, but it's just nothing was coming together for Scotland. And it was. They were both very similar games. In fact, they lost 1-0. They dominated both. It just wasn't full for them. In the end, it's cost them. They're out of the Euros now. So, look, it's full. As far as I'm concerned, for Kirsty and Jane, it's full focus on United, and should be from now on because I think they've got 2 more games, 2 more qualifiers coming in the new year, and they're pointless. They mean nothing for Scotland now. But yeah,
pull out.
really encouraging display from Jane. Kirsty getting some much needed and much deserved minutes. Brilliant going forward, as I say. But just in the end, just didn't really come off for Scotland. But I'm not going to blame our girls for that.
No.
No, she did. Kirsty Hansen nearly scored on a few occasions in the first game, didn't she? I thought she was unlucky, really.
It's been a great it's been a great season for Kirsty Hansen. It really has. I mean, Sarah, would you put Kirsty Hansen in United starting 11, or would you just keep rotating her doing what we are doing because we've got plenty of options, haven't we?
Yeah, I think it does them good for a bit of rotation because it gives them a bit of competition, doesn't it? But I do like the way Kirsty Hansen plays. I think she's quite, she can run up and down the wing. She can put a few nice moves and outwit the defenders, and then put a cross in. She's not afraid to sort of push her way through either, is she, against defenders, which I like.
Yeah, I think we're all big fans of Kirsty, aren't we, on here? And she has done fantastic, I think, this season. She just keeps progressing, every season. And, I think we've had a few guests on the show that can really speak really highly of Kirsty. And, she's still learning as well, in my opinion. She's still growing. So I think the best is still yet to come. Nat, we spoke about Kirsty Smith. Would you put her back in the starting lineup against Aston Villa?
For me, I would. I don't really usually as well. I know she played for Scotland. When I was surprised when her name was on the Scotland, going out and playing these qualifiers because she's been out for us for months. But obviously she's gone there now. She obviously got a fit for this second game, done well, according to John. For me, there was some stats as well that said that she had like the highest passing completion or something like that. So, it sounds like she did well. I would play her because I think we don't need Leah on the left back or whatever, right back. Whether they're playing Leah, I want Leah further forward. So I think Smithy coming back in now, she'll play in the back line with Honor, who we had 45 minutes, and then just, get her playing and get Leah pushed up. Let's do this. Big scoreline, hopefully.
So that brings on to another UK-based team, Wales. Hayley Ladd. We'll carry going there, so we'll go back to Jake again. I'm going to throw this quick question out there. So with United having, I know I would do this, but it's just a question that I would ask. With United having so many top quality midfielders, Hayley Ladd being one of them, Jake might know where I'm going to go with this. Is there an opportunity for Hayley to play at the back every now and again to make room for an extra midfielder?
Yeah, definitely. Hayley's very good in the fact that she's a versatile player, so she's not really fixed to one position. I think we all remember in the Manchester derby going back to the start of last season, she played a fair bit of that game at right back, which just shows she's really flexible and she can sort of play any defensive position. So for Wales, she usually plays as part of the back line, so centre back. And she fits into both positions really well, whether it be centre back or defensive midfielder. Personally, I prefer in defensive midfield. She just looks a lot more comfortable there. She can take a lot more time than what she can at centre back. That's just natural how strikers press. And her best position is definitely defensive midfield. But if it comes to it, if we're short on defenders, throw her in centre back because she can do a job. We know she's as calm as anything on the ball. Cool, calm, collected, can pick a pass, can really dictate the tempo of the game. And that's That's a skill that sort of comes naturally. A few players have that. But when you look at Hayley, you're just reassured in a way. You just think when she's on the ball, yeah, it's safe. She's gonna do something with this. She's not gonna lose it. And I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, but I think Hayley is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, and I think she's underrated. I really do.
Well, that'll come in handy with our next topic in a bit, won't it? Yeah. I mean, me and Nat spoke last week about if he was going to buy another position, who would it be? I actually said a centre back because I thought Amy, Millie, and Abby, I would just like one more centre back, not to come in necessarily to replace them. I would just like that fourth centre back. At the time, I never even considered Hayley Ladd, to be honest. So maybe that is the reason why we're going a little bit light of centre backs, because we have actually got 4 if you include Hayley Ladd. Just before I move on to Sarah, Jake, I've got to mention Wales won Belarus. You must have watched that one, surely, with it being Belarus.
Yeah, yeah, no, 3-0 to Wales in the end. Quite a comfortable victory. It meant nothing for them in the end, unfortunately. But yeah, looking at the players afterwards, I know this isn't United, but look at the players, they're sort of reflecting and saying, we go again, and the mood seems to be happy in that camp, which can only be a good thing for Hayley. But as I say, another team that's sort of out of the Euros now, out of the competition. So full focus on United.
100%, yeah, definitely. Sarah, how impressed have you been with Hayley Ladd on international duty and for Man United? I mean, she was our player of the season last season. She started off really well again, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has. She's always a player I'd put in the team. At first 11, I'd always put her in because I think she can play further forward in midfield and she can drop back. So I think she plays really well with whoever else is in midfield as well. So she's flexible in the sense that she doesn't mind whoever she's playing with. Whereas some people on the team, I feel, don't always fit as well together.
That's a good point. Yeah. We'll move on that to someone that I think you're a fan of. Plays for Spain, owner. So winning 10-0 against Moldova. I don't know if you noticed who was on the score sheet, but someone that we spoke about over the summer, Eva Navarro. Yeah. So
it was a good goal. It was, to be fair, Spain women play like Spain men, in that old. And so they're an underdog for me. They play that kind of, when Spain used to win the World Cup, win the Euros. I think they could potentially, win it because they just the quick, fast passing, tippy tapper, and Eva's goal was absolutely fantastic. And Honor played 45 minutes. I'm happy for her. I was just more happy that it sounds really sad she came off after 45 minutes just to rest. They didn't have another game. I think Jake will know better than me. I think they're qualified, or they're like 1 point and they're qualified. They're definitely going to the Euros. She'll come out of that happy, 10-0, getting minutes. It's just the world's the oyster for that one, I think. I think currently, I know people say bronze, this, that, and the other. But for me, currently, she's the best fullback in the league. If you look at it just straight on form, she missed a few games, but the games that she's played, apart from the City one, which then she came back in the second half, did even better, and then did even better the follow-up game, So for me, she's the best fullback in the league currently, at the minute. Paper, you can say this and that, who's done this, but if you just look at it straight with your eyes, every game, every fullback that I've seen, no one comes close to what she can do.
I think we spoke about versatility as well with Hayley Ladd. Just looking at the formation that Spain played, it looks like Ona played in like 3 at the back at one point as well. So I think she played she was like on the left hand side of 3 at the back. People say she should play on the right. Plays on the left as well. I even went back. I just wanted to see if it was like a one-off. So I even went back to when they played early on in the year. It might have even been against the USA. I'm not too sure. And she played in a different position then as well. So she just goes absolutely everywhere, doesn't she? She just had a great start to the season. Yeah.
If you could have 11 on her bottles, you would.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I know Carrie Jones is only young, but I don't know if she actually played. Does anybody know if she actually got into the squad? I'm not too sure because it was only in the Go on, sorry.
No, didn't miss time. I think the only time I can remember seeing Carrie Jones was last year, I want to say, against the Faroe Islands for about 10 minutes. But yeah, let's say she's really young at the moment. She's not 17, if I'm right. But yeah, she's got a long way to come. But looking at the quality that Wales have, I can see her getting in that team, quite quickly. With the coaches United have and the way she'll develop as a player, she's already made a debut and set a record in that. In fact, that I think she was the youngest Wales debutant, and she played for Wales before she'd even played senior club football. So I think that tells you all you need to know about the potential. So yeah, an exciting prospect for both club and country.
So I have to ask you, Jake, because obviously it's a Man United channel, and you seem to know a bit about her. Could we see a breakthrough at some point at United?
It won't be this season. I'd be surprised if it was, because obviously I think she'll need a season or two with the Debs just to come through. And as I say, she's very young. And look, you compare someone like her to maybe Lauren James in terms of age. Lauren James was 17 when she was playing some of her best football for us. But then you look at Carrie Jones, and she's come from the semi-professional setup, if you like. She only just joined us, and then as a professional club. So whereas Lauren James had been at Arsenal before coming to us, Carrie's not had that. But you look at the potential in there. She's quick. From what I saw in those 10 minutes, thinking back, she was lively. But yeah, as I say, not seen much for her yet, but huge potential. And I was really happy when we signed her, because a lot of people didn't know who she was. But I was thinking, hey, if she's played international football before she even played club football, there's something there. So yeah, fingers crossed that she's a success story for you.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of Carrie for the Devs. When we could see the Devs before all this tears, she is good. She's dogged, determined. She reminds me a bit of Tooney, just in the way that she'll press, but she plays as a 9. Bit like, I suppose, a Russo. I think there's a long way for her. There's other young kids in there, like Manchester girls, that'll push her as well. But it's not just sort of, guaranteed for her. But yeah, I'm sure she'll have a great career. There's a lot of good girls in that Dev setup. So, they're back now, fully training, having fun. The league will start soon. You'll start hearing names and who's scoring, and hopefully her name comes up a few times.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't see why not. Yeah. A question on the screen: would you go to the games if we were allowed? I'm guessing we talk about the international games because we all go to the United games. Nat, which games have you been to internationally? Because you've been to quite a few. I'm sure I've read it on the group somewhere.
Yeah, I've been to. I go to tell you what it is. I go to a lot of the unders. So, it all started. I think someone was in the vicinity watching a Man United game, and one of the girls were like, "Oh, they're playing at St. George's." So we just sort of, a couple of us went down to St. George's, started watching like Lauren there, started watching Rambo there, Palmer when she was playing for us. And then I've seen Rambo and Tooney playing for the 21. So I've watched a lot of under 19, under 21 England. I've watched a couple of England actual full internationals. I was lucky enough, honoured to go out to France and watch the World Cup. But I've been to Wales. Jake came and we went to watch Hayley Ladd. I've been to Scotland and watched Smithy and all that. I mean, if I could go to any international that was just gone, I was saying I would have gone to that Holland one. Even though it was, you would have had to pay a ticket and all that. I think just to see Press, Heath, Jackie, that's the game I would have been like, if out of all of them, I would have been like, let me go and get on the planes and watch that.
What was the game that you watched in Warsaw about a year and a half ago? Was it Warsaw?
Yeah, that was England. That was England versus Denmark, I think.
Yeah.
And it was. I think we just signed Abby, and then I think the day before later we signed thingy. So I think there's a picture, and Abby took, and she was like, "Wow!" And there was like 5 of us, and she was like, "Wow!" And I was like, "You think this is good, love?"
We'll move on because time's jumping on us there. World-class players in our team. So a couple of you have already mentioned that we've got like potentially the best fullback in the league, or we've spoke about Hayley Ladd as well. I mean, it all depends on what you define as world-class, I guess. But for me, maybe someone who wouldn't feel out of place in like the United States or Netherlands team, or maybe like Wolfsburg, Barcelona, PSG, Lyon, these kind of players. Do we think that we've got any of these players? If we have, who? Or have we got anyone with the potential to come through and play in these these top class teams? Sarah, let's start off with yourself, and we could just go around and just name a couple each. Sarah, where would you start when it comes to our world class players?
I think definitely my first one would be Lauren James. The first time I saw her play at LSV, I was just mesmerised. The way she can move with the ball, she can outwit the opposition, she can have two of them round her, and she can still move the ball and get it and score or get into the box. I think this season, as she's coming back from injury, she's not at her best yet, and I think sometimes she's been a bit greedy and not pass where there's a simpler pass for somebody to score. So I think she still needs to work on that. But for me, definitely Lauren James. I think from what we've seen so far, Tooney and Millie are definitely improving. And for me, Millie for a centre back at her age, I think's been fabulous. So I think she's definitely potential to be world class as well.
It's music to my ears. I mean, all those players, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I'll just throw one name in there, Leah Galton. May get forgotten about because she doesn't play international and she's playing at left back at the moment. But let's not forget what she did last season. Let's not forget what she's doing for us this season, out of position. Really taking one for the team, playing left back when we all know how much she wants to contribute to goals. And I don't know many women's players of the past, but I think of like world-class players who maybe never even won the league, or never won like a World Cup, or never won a European Cup, like the men's team, like for example, like Paul Gascoigne or Alan Shearer. They might have won the league once, or they might have won like a cup, but they never like won a World Cup. But they're still world-class in their role. And I'm looking at some of our players. Okay, they haven't necessarily won a massive cup, but that doesn't mean anything to me. I think we've got some natural talent there. You mentioned LJ as well. Nat, do you want to throw in a couple of names there?
Well, I mean, for me, the ones that are stand out world class, Tobin and Press. I think we've not seen the best of Press yet, but Tobin is absolutely. Tobin is just. I think LJ you'd definitely put in there as that top bracket. Potentially she can be, but there's like Sarah said, there's these little things, and if she improves on this, and it's only just going to come for LJ. We're going to just watch this development. But Tobin is just bang, ready made. There you go. The way she picked up that ball and just hit it. Oh my God! And then we've seen LJ strike some balls, but I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen a player like Tobin ever. Anywhere, and I don't, everyone knows that I've just started watching it through United. I only follow really Man United, so that is the first sort of quality player. The way she did that, that's the first world class that I've seen. So definitely think, all the names that you mentioned and all the names that are coming up. I mean, Honor as well. Like I know I've talked about her, but I ain't never seen anyone do anything what she does, and just it's the dogged, it's a determination, and I think she just had some goals, maybe had some more assists. Boom, she's there. That's it.
Leslie's name is on the screen as well. Gary is talking about LJ, Reaper. Can you see all these players like Marta? Can you all ever see players like Marta or any other player well known put on United shirts? It's funny you should mention Marta. It's definitely possible, isn't it? Jake, what are your thoughts on some potential signings? There are a couple of questions there. Are there any transfer rumours flying around? There was one mentioned a couple of weeks ago about a Barcelona player. But yeah, I mean, Jake, who would you like to see, or who do you think could potentially come to United?
Yeah, well, I think the main thing about transfers is, having Heath and Press, that set the bar up here. We can sort of aim high now. We can set our sights on anyone. I'm not saying anyone will play for United, but it's certainly put our name up there as one of the clubs that big players will, consider and have a look at. And with Casey bringing in this talent, Casey's passion, character, determination to build from the ground rather than just bring in all these big stars. It's great because we have a mix of, youth and potential, and of course the already world-class players. You like Jackie, Tobin, Kristen. So who would I like to see? Well, we talked before about how we need defenders, and I'd love to see Becky Sauerbrunn join her American teammates, the American centre-back. I think she's tough, she's strong, obviously class above all of our defenders because she is. She's done it all. She is, I'd say, she is on the Tobin and Kristen level of World Cup winners, and but it is really aiming high, and it could be unlikely. But as I say, ever since we signed those two, anything's possible now.
I want to say, John, the Barcelona player that you're talking about, it could be a Spanish player, it could be a young Spanish player, it could be Pina. She's potential to be absolutely different class. But then a lot of people have said Leaky Martins is upset or unhappy or whatever. So that's a name as well. So, but listen, like Jake says, the bar's here now. Yeah. Who you bring in next? You can't go under the bar. You've got to raise the bar now.
Yeah, especially if we're getting that top three. I mean, if we can get the top this season. Absolutely, yeah. So your world-class players, Jake, go on.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to Hayley Ladd. I know I mentioned it before, but I think the issue with Hayley Ladd and the fact that not many people see her as world-class is the fact that she's not part of one of these super teams. She's not part of the USA. She's not part of Netherlands, England. She's in a Wales team, quite frankly, and underachieving constantly. They're not getting to the major tournaments, so they're not on that world stage. And I think it's a real shame for Hayley because she deserves to be at these major tournaments, and hopefully with United she can maybe go to the Champions League. She's playing at a solid team now. She came from Birmingham. Birmingham were really well. Birmingham were fourth, which is where we finished last season. Birmingham were a solid, established WSL team. She's now moved to United, who are sort of up the game a bit. So Hayley's moved to, I think, by far her best club in terms of standard. I think it's the best place for her to be, and it really is hard to put her in the world class category when it's not the same internationally, if you know what I mean. For example, Jackie in the Netherlands, we all know how good she is for United and how this season's been, a new start in some ways for her. But she's been playing with the world class players. She's reached the World Cup final, whereas Hayley hasn't. But domestically, as I say, Hayley impresses me every single week. And I know there'll be other players in the WSL who will be scared to face Hayley because she's not afraid to put a tackle in. She's hard to get the ball off. She's just not a player you want to be playing against.
So let me make a list then. So we've got Ona, who we've kind of agreed on. We've mentioned Millie as a possibility. We've got Ladd, Tooney, Press, Heath, Arthur Galton, Russo, LJ, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Jackie, flipping out, Jackie, well done. Yeah. So we've got 10 world-class players there. That's not a bad start, is it, for like a team that's only 2.5 years, 2.5 years in, and I'm sure there's probably some that we've forgotten about or missed or kind of glazed over. While I'm reading through the comments, have a little think if there's anybody else. We've got goal of the season. Sorry, we've got goal of the month. We've got that. Becky just finally got her transfer.
Yeah, Jake was saying world class at the back.
Absolutely. We've mentioned that one. John Fry, we need to keep improving with signings. Yeah, and that's nothing against the players that we've already got. But obviously, still you move backwards, aren't you?
Yeah.
Too many German internationals playing WSL. I don't know if you guys can help me with that one. I'm not too sure.
Don't know. Jake, do there any German internationals play?
We've got a few. And Catherine Berger for Chelsea, Leah Waltz for Chelsea. Bit of a theme here. Leonie Meyer, I think she's German. I'm not an expert on Germans, but there's 3 there, and there's probably some more that I can't think of.
There's a girl called Lupos who just recently joined Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
That's the only one to know. But apparently there's a world class. Jake, you might know. She's called Oddorf or something.
Oberdorf.
Yes.
Oberdorf. Yeah.
World class centre back. That's make your list now.
Oh, Here we go.
Yay!
Oh,
That's it. You've won tonight. You've won.
I'll keep that on the screen right now. Like guys, there's like 19 to 20 people watching at the moment. Please hit the like button. It does help the channel.
Yeah.
Hopefully encourages more people to start watching and joining watching women's football. The views are keep on going up. So yeah, thank you guys. So we've got another 10 minutes or so to talk about the game on Saturday, Aston Villa. So I think they're like about 2 positions from the bottom. I think they've won 1. I don't know how many games they've played. I think they've played a little bit less than some of the teams.
2 games less, haven't they?
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and what are your thoughts going into that game, Sarah? Obviously, you must be fairly confident, but we can never be overconfident, can we?
No, we should be confident, but I think we need to be cautious because sometimes I think we can be sort of to think that we're going to beat them and we don't. So we need to make sure that we play the game as if we're playing Arsenal, and make sure that we take our chances and score. I don't think we'll be troubled by them, because I've watched a few highlights from their games, and they are a team that can push forward, but they don't seem to capitalise on the chances that they get. And if they're coming against a good defence, they're not managing to score, and that's what's been unlucky for them really this season from what I've seen. So I think we shouldn't be troubled, but I'm sure Casey won't be saying, oh well, it'll be an easy match. She'll be going in there wanting to win it and making sure that they don't sort of sit back and just think it's going to be an easy game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Sophie made a good point last week about will they be able to deal with our press, because obviously, you know, the likes of Jackie, Heath, or whoever's up there running at the defenders, you know, do Aston Villa actually have the quality to play out? You know, we could potentially see quite a few goals in this game. Nat, you made a prediction last week. Do you stick by that prediction now?
Did I say 8? I think I said 8 or something like that. I said 8.
I think you said 6 at one point, yeah.
I'm saying 8 now. And I know we've just done a throwback on the Man United women's Twitter, just talking about the first 12-0 and then the 5-0 when we got promoted. And it's just Aston Villa, we just beat them. And I don't want to get complacent. I mean, people are saying that. I would be happy with a 3-4-0. I would be happy with a 1-0. But, you know, it's like complacency. We can't let these teams, we can't think that we've won it. I mean, the Birmingham game was a prime example. We went 1-0 up within the first few seconds and it was, all right, yeah, we're going to win now. And then they came back to 2-1. And you can't have that. And, you know, I think we need to know, like Sarah said, we're playing a big team. Every game's a cup final. You know, we've just got to win. But, you know, like So said, press them. You know, if they make a mistake, punish it. Clinical. We're not here. Like I see a lot of people in women's football, oh, he scored so many goals. Why you so that? No, we're here to score goals and we're here to win football matches and we're here to put on a performance for our fans. You know, we're not here to make friends and hope that they're all right. And if they get hammered, I don't care if they get hammered. It's life. Move on. You know, we should be dishing out these hammerings now. You know, we've got Press, Heath, we've just said we've got 10 world-class players, so go and put them to the sword, you know. Go and score 13. 12's not good enough anymore, you know. And that sounds so horrible, but it's true. You know, put them to the sword, take them out, finish them.
Sounds like you agree with that, Sarah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if they go out there straight from the off and they're running at them, I think, you know, it'll be just continue that for the rest of the game and it'll put them on the back foot, because from the games I've seen the highlights of, if the goalie has made some silly errors and coming out too early sometimes, and I think if they just go at them, you know, like Nat says, it should be 8 and 13 or whatever, you know. We should.
Yeah, finish them. You know, when people said about Ivana, get Ivana on. Let her score a few goals. Get Carrie Jones on. Let her come on. You know? Get the whole team scoring. Get the keeper scoring. You know?
Jake, I'll put you in a second. Just a quick one, though. I think one thing that we haven't seen from United in the WSL just yet is that, 6, 7, 8, they're like where the big three have done. So I would like to see it. And if it's going to happen, it's got to happen hopefully quite soon, just to send that statement down. Go on, Jake. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, there's two ways of looking at it. You can look at it how Nat's looking at it and be like, yeah, 13-0. And look, I'd love that just as much as anyone. We know we can beat Villa. We've done it plenty of times before. And I think they've really struggled since coming into the league. They've not taken to it like us and Spurs did. They're struggling to get any points on the board. Obviously, they did win against Brighton, I think it was. But yeah, as Sarah touched on, dodgy keeper. In fact, no, took two dodgy keepers because both Rodgers and Weiss have made some silly mistakes while they've been on the pitch. They conceded a lot more goals than they did last season, so as I say, step-up's not been great for them. And also, the main thing, I think, is, the other thing to be cautious of is it's not going to be a thrashing. You can't just say, oh yeah, it'll be a thrashing, we've taken that for granted, because you look back to the first game of the season, okay, City dominated them, but City's 2 goals came from goalkeeping errors. And if their goalkeeper decides to have a good game against us, which, that'll be just our luck, we just need to make sure we get the job done. We can't go into it thinking, oh yeah, it's a case of how many, get the job done, get the points on the board, and that's what it's got to be. I think Villa, this season, I think they're going to be the easiest team we played, and that's quite a statement, but Bristol know how to play against us. You look at Brighton, you look at Birmingham, who've given us tough games in the past. I think we'll win comfortably. But yeah, just get the job done, please.
Do you think Aston Villa's got enough to stay up, Jake?
Yes, only because Bristol have been dire. I hate to be brutal, but there we go. Villa.
Sorry, go on.
Villa haven't been great. Maybe they'll get better as the season goes on. It takes a lot to sort of find their feet in a new league, and as you say, they play fewer games than the rest of the team around them, so they've got those games in hand to play. But yeah, Villa haven't really impressed me much at all at the moment, and they're lucky that Bristol have been as bad as they have been.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see them stay up, being like one of my local teams. Obviously, they play at Warsaw, which is like 20 minutes from my house, so never got a chance to see them. Obviously, because of the game in 2 days' time, that would be like a home game for me. So I would love to see them stay up just for that reason. And yeah, I agree with you on that one, Jake. Yeah. Just before I've got 2 more questions to ask. I'll start off with just some sort of like predicted 11, or just like who would you like to see? Who do you think we will see? Will there be any surprises? We'll start off with yourself, Sarah. Who would you like to see in this game that maybe we haven't seen much of, or what would you like to see in this game?
I'd like to see Fuso. I think she'd be good to come on. I think, what about Honor? I think she'd be good, to get another run in. And I'm not sure whether to play Mary again or whether to put Rambo on. It would be good for Rambo, I think, following that penalty shootout to have a league game.
Natalie, I see you nodded on those 2. I'm sure you'd agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see Rambo, because we're out of the League Cup and we shall play against things, but then there won't be any more games after that. And you're potentially waiting on an FA Cup. When's that going to be? How long will we last in that? I think a game like Villa is perfect for Rambo to play. Not saying like, Mary's not our first, but, someone like Rambo just needs minutes. So I'd love to see her play. I'd love to see Fuso play as well. Definitely come off the bench for Fuso kind of thing. I mean, apparently she's building back up. She's had a lot of injuries, but, I think everyone, people who don't even watch potentially a lot, but they see a little dancing, I just think, imagine if she comes on and just scores, and it makes me excited because I just know she's going to do something crazy and do a dance in front of the camera, and we're all going to cry at home. And I just want Fuso to play. But I want it to wait for us. But then, tier 3. But listen, I just want Fuso to play because I'm just so happy. And I just know she will absolutely, if she plays and scores and, it's too much to think about that.
I think my answer to this would be I'd probably like to see Lotta. I wouldn't want to make too many changes. So I think if Lotta needs some game time or whatever, I think this could be the game for that. Again, I wouldn't go throwing a lot of the squad players in, but if there's just going to be a couple of changes, I wouldn't mind seeing Lotta. And just for my own personal benefit, let's see more of Jess Digsworth, because I just think that she showed what she could do against Arsenal, I think it was. Let's just get Jess some game time as well. Jake, any thoughts on that starting 11?
Yeah, now this is going to sound a bit biased because we all know how much of a big fan but
we know what's coming.
Go back to the Scotland game. I want to try Jane on the wing because, as I say, she looked really good against Finland. She was putting balls in, she was creating things. Nothing came of them, but she had a good start to the season. She scored a few goals, and then obviously has been replaced by players who probably deserve to start and place a bit more than her. But with Kirsty Hansen out, you've got your left back. Converted left back of Leah. You've got Tobin on the left. I think give Jane the first half on the right wing and see what trouble she causes them. Because I've said before, I think this will be one of our easiest, if not easiest, games of the season. She's not going to get much game time, so I think maybe try her out on the right wing, see what she does. Because what I saw in the Scotland game was really impressive.
Fair enough. Listen to Jake. Before I move on to the final question, and it's a really important question, Nat, what are your thoughts on Ebony Salmon?
Oh, I love Ebony. Obviously, she scored against us. It was a bad day that day, but obviously she come back. She felt that she didn't get any chances. But it was just said, Ebony's a threat always. I mean, we're playing them potentially when we might have fans on the 20th. The next home game is going to be against Bristol. You know what Ebony can do. You know that she's going to score goals. Ebony might be the reason Villa go down, because she can score a lot of goals, but I think Bristol are done for. But I mean, I saw a comment before, you flashed up, player starting a strong one and then bring people on. That's what I think. Yeah. I think start strong, Tobin, Leah, right and left, press up top, Jackie, Hayley, the Tooney, and then potentially bring off Tobin, bring off Leah. Put on bloody Jane Ross down the middle, Jess on the right, or swap them round, and then Fuso on the left, or Fuso's 10, take off 2. I think go out there, like I said, start fast, bang, 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 5 goals up, then you can start doing what the hell you want. That's what I say. Yeah. 5 goals in the first half and do what you want. Let's not be second half FC. Let's kill it straight away. I mean, Casey even said when we played West Ham, we should have been 5-0 up in the first half. And, that's West Ham. West Ham are a better side than Villa. They're both near the bottom, but we should have been 5-0 up in the first half. And that's what I want to see. I want to see us just get loads of goals in the first half, and then you can start seeing maybe a lot of, maybe you think, you can make 5 subs in the WSL, good, which is good. They need rotation. They just played loads of games. They're getting more qualifiers coming. So, rotate them in and just then go for it. Let's see. All these players on the set, fringe players, potentially they might come on, bag a hat-trick, and then they're first teamers, and why not, but let's be first half FC.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well, yeah. So the last thing I just want to mention is I saw a quote today on Twitter, and I think it came from Martha Harris. I don't know how long ago it was. It was about when we won 12-0 against Aston Villa. It was like a statement, because obviously it was like the first game. What a statement it would be if Man United was top by Christmas. So there's another 3 games to go. I believe it's Reading and Bristol, I think, after this game. 3 potential victories there. Question to each and every one of you. We'll start with Jake. Will we be top at Christmas?
You like to think so, don't you? I mean, 3 games on paper we should be winning. I mean, I know the games are played on paper and these games can go wrong, but yeah, do I expect us to? Yes, I do. Because I know girls can do it. There's no reason why they shouldn't with the form they've shown earlier this season. I mean, look, we've played really well against the top three, so we should be able to do the job against the teams near the bottom now. You know, Bristol, we know how bad they've been. Although they are a threat, I'm not going to deny that. Villa, I've already said I think it will be a comfortable victory. And Reading, who haven't been anywhere near their best this season. So, yeah, 3 games that we should be winning. And then we will be top at Christmas, hopefully.
Go on, Sarah. Will we be top by Christmas?
Yeah, definitely. No, I do think we will. Yeah. Well, why not? We're there now, so I think we'll maintain it.
Yeah, I agree. I think we have to go for a yes. Natalie, your thoughts?
Yeah, 9 points. I mean, I think for me, what Jake said about the teams, you know, Bristol, yeah, potentially, but I think Reading will be the toughest game away from home. But I just think, you know, these are the games now we should be winning, and I can only see 9 points as it should be, and then, you know, everyone can have a really, really Merry Christmas. And I know that they'll want to give that to us. They'll want to give us 9 points. You know, we've not been there. And it'll be great. You know, imagine like the last game. I mean, this is what I'm hoping for. The last game, 20th of December, 5 days before Christmas. We're all there. And we just see them just turn it on for us and just blow us kisses till next year. You know, it'll be absolutely fantastic. They'll want it. We want it. Let's just hope it happens.
Natalie, it could happen, couldn't it? It really could. Yeah. It really could happen. Yeah, let's hope so. And that'll be great, and a great way to end the show. Thank you. Thanks again, Jake, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Sarah, thank you. First time on the show. Hopefully you can come back again in the new year. Thank you to everybody.
For having me.
Absolutely, no problem at all. Thank you very much. Quite a few people watching again today. A lot of people in the comments. Thank you for joining in. You know that we appreciate it. It makes the show a lot more interactive, and that's what it's all about. If you wanted to do a recording show, then we could do a recorded show, but the live show allows you guys to interact as well. Natalie, final word on yourself?
Yeah, just let's keep going, keep pushing along. You know, we want them 9 points, and we want fans to be back in the 20th. So keep washing your hands, wearing your mask. It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen.
Thank you, Natalie. If anybody wants to find you or the Barmy Army, where can the people find you?
Barmy Army MUWFC. Watch out for what we've got coming. It's going to be a good month this month. But yeah, you know, stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, Jake, yourself?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter @_Jake Lowe. I usually have it in my name, but I haven't tonight. @_Jake Lowe. Yeah, usually I post the odd tweet here and there about Jane Ross. Of course. I mean, you might notice I've become a bit of a converted Jackie fan. So yeah, I'm always singing the praises of Jackie Ronan now.
Brilliant. And Sarah, if anybody wants to talk to you or about Man United women's team, where can they find you?
Yeah, just look on the Twitter link from this. It's on there. It's a long number, mine, after my name.
Okay, well, thank you very much, guys. Really enjoy the show. Have a good week, and hopefully we'll have a good Saturday. And see you again soon.
Thanks.